A 660 cubic centimeter truck, barely 60 horsepower, small enough to fit tight city streets. In Europe, it can be road legal. In America, the same truck can get rejected or restricted. Same vehicle, same design, completely different outcome. So what is really stopping it? Is it safety? Or a system that was never built for small trucks? A truck under 3.4 meters long, powered by a 660 cubic centimeter engine, barely 60 horsepower. On paper, it looks too small to matter. But in Europe, this same truck can pass inspections, get registered, and drive on public roads. In America, it can be restricted, limited, or even denied registration entirely. Same vehicle, same design, completely different outcome. In Europe and the UK, there are approval pathways. Vehicles can go through individual vehicle approval tests, emissions checks, and registration processes. If the truck meets roadworthiness standards, it can be adapted and used. In the US, the system is stricter at the base level. New vehicles must meet federal motor vehicle safety standards. Most K trucks were never designed for those rules. That creates an immediate barrier. Even older models, allowed under the 25-year import exemption, face another layer. State laws control registration. Some states allow them. Others restrict or ban road use. Road design also plays a role. Europe has tighter streets and lower speed zones. America relies on highways, often above 65 to 75 miles per hour. So the difference is not capability, it is compatibility. But here is the real question. Why does Europe create a pathway for these trucks, while America struggles to fit them into its system? Because once you look closer, you start to see why Europe is suddenly embracing K trucks. A small truck with a 660 cubic centimeter engine should not be trending in Europe. Yet it is, quietly, rapidly. Across the UK and parts of Europe, imports of K trucks are rising. Used models often cost $6,000 to $10,000. Fuel efficiency can reach 45 to 55 miles per gallon. For small businesses, farms, and local deliveries, that matters. Now look at the environment. European cities are dense. Streets are narrow. Parking is limited. Large trucks are not always practical. A compact vehicle under 3.4 meters fits where others cannot. Then comes cost pressure. Fuel prices are higher than in the US. Operating a full-size truck becomes expensive. A lightweight vehicle with lower fuel use becomes a smart choice. And there is demand shift. Local deliveries, urban logistics, and small-scale operations are growing. These jobs do not need 300 horsepower. They need efficiency. So here is the real question. Is Europe adopting K trucks because they are small, or because modern needs are becoming smaller? Because this is where things get interesting. Europe is not just accepting these trucks. It has built a system that allows them to be tested, approved, and used. Europe does not simply say yes to K trucks. It creates a path. A small 660 cubic centimeter truck does not need to match every standard instantly. It needs to prove it can be made road-ready. In the UK, imported vehicles go through a defined process. IVA testing, emissions checks, roadworthiness inspections. Importers must notify authorities, complete registration steps, and pass safety verification before road use. Across Europe, systems like type approval and individual approval, under frameworks such as EU vehicle regulation, allow vehicles to be evaluated case by case. That means even a non-European vehicle can enter the system, as long as it meets required safety and environmental conditions. This flexibility matters. A K truck under 3.4 meters, often weighing under 700 to 900 kilograms, can be adapted instead of rejected. Speedometers can be converted. Lighting can be adjusted. Emissions can be tested and verified. And demand supports it. These trucks can deliver 45 to 55 miles per gallon, making them attractive in regions with higher fuel costs. The system asks, can this vehicle be made safe enough to use? Not. Was it originally built exactly to our standards? So here is the real question. Is Europe more lenient or simply more adaptable in how it evaluates vehicles? Because once you compare that to the US system, you start to see exactly why America still struggles to accept them. A 660 cubic centimeter truck does not fail in America because it cannot work. It fails because it does not fit the system. In the US, vehicles are judged before they even reach the road. New imports must meet federal motor vehicle safety standards, crash protection, airbags, structural strength. Most K trucks were never built for these requirements. That creates the first barrier. Then comes the 25-year import rule. Only vehicles older than 25 years can bypass full compliance. That means most K trucks on US roads are already decades old. But even that is not enough. The second barrier is speed and environment. American roads are built for 65 to 75 miles per hour highways. K trucks are designed for slower, local use. This creates a mismatch in expectations. And then comes the cost. To redesign a K truck for US standards, manufacturers would need to add safety systems, testing, and certification. That pushes the price far beyond its original low-cost appeal. So here is the real question. Is America rejecting these trucks because they are unsafe, or because the system was never designed for vehicles this small? Because the biggest challenge is still ahead. Even if a K truck enters the country, another layer decides whether it can actually be used. A K truck can be legal in one part of America and unusable in another. Same vehicle, same paperwork, different outcome. The United States has 50 states, and each controls its own vehicle registration rules. That means federal approval is only the first step. Even if a K truck enters under the 25-year import exemption, state laws decide whether it can be titled, insured, and driven. And the differences are real. Some states allow registration with restrictions like low speed limits or local road use. Others classify these trucks as off-road or utility vehicles, limiting them to farms or private land. In certain states, they cannot be registered at all due to safety classification concerns. Insurance can also become complicated. Some insurers treat them as standard vehicles. Others do not recognize them easily, increasing cost or limiting coverage. Even basic use can vary. Speed limits, road access, highway restrictions, all can change depending on where you are. So ownership becomes unpredictable. Here is the real question. How can a vehicle be accepted under federal import law, but still face completely different rules just a few miles away? And what does that mean for someone trying to use it daily? Because this reveals the deeper issue. It is not just about safety or design. It is about a system that doesn't operate as one. And until that changes, the question is not whether K-trucks can work in America, but whether America can create a system that works for them. And that leads to the bigger question: will the system ever adapt or stay the same? A tiny 660 cubic centimeter truck has already found a place on European roads. But in America, it is still trying to find a place in the system. So will the US ever catch up? Right now, the gap is clear. Europe uses individual approval systems that allow vehicles to be tested and adapted. The US relies on federal motor vehicle safety standards designed for full-size, high-speed vehicles. Two different approaches, two different outcomes. There are signs of change. Some states have started allowing 25-plus-year-old mini trucks with limited use. Demand is growing among farmers, small businesses, and local delivery operators. Fuel efficiency of 35 to 45 miles per gallon and lower ownership costs are hard to ignore. But the challenge remains. To fully accept K-trucks, the US would need new categories, possibly for low-speed or local-use vehicles. That means policy change, not just market demand. So here is the real question: will America adapt its system to fit smaller vehicles, or continue building rules around larger ones? Because this is not just about K-trucks, it is about how the system responds to changing needs. And that leads to the final truth. K-trucks do not need to take over the entire market. They only need to prove that a smaller, cheaper solution can work. And once that idea takes hold, change is no longer a question of if, but when. The same tiny truck tells two completely different stories. In Europe, the system adapts to fit the vehicle. In America, the vehicle struggles to fit the system. So the difference is not capability. It is how each system decides what belongs on the road. And that is the real answer. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button